How good you are in marketing, sales, operation, doesn't matter. The most important thing is picking the right opportunity from the get-go. And let me explain. When I started the online business journey, I went into a course, went into Iman Gadzi, did Sam Oven's course, did Nick Osmond stuff, and I started an advertising agency. But I spent 6 months unable to acquire clients, and I couldn't understand why that was the case. Until I decided to start an outbound prospecting and appointment setting agency and scaled it to 10K a month after 60 days. Started making 30K a month after 4 months. And I was like, how is it that I'm selling something more inefficient compared to ads? Of course, doing cold outreach is more inefficient than ads, but I'm effortlessly able to make a lot more money than most advertising agencies. And here's where I actually recently learned this lesson. Looking back, I don't think I knew this when I was starting the business, but if you watch this video, you will understand this insight. And that is the fact that when the thing you sell is facilitated by technology, you get automatically commoditized. Why? Because the ease of delivering a service attracts newbies. It attracts beginners who are just going to swarm up your market and keep on yapping on the same message as you and make it hard for you to sell and get clients. But even when you do get clients, they're going to argue with you on the price. They're going to object on the price. They're going to make you have to run 100 laps in order for them to even trust you with their $1,000 a month retainer, $2,000 a month retainer. Guys, you have to understand that as a human, you're important. Your life is important. So if a client has to make you sweat in order for them to give you $1,500 a month retainer or to give you $2,000 a month, there comes a point where you got to respect yourself and realize that you could do better. In today's video, I'm essentially sharing an insight around building and releasing real estate viral content infrastructures instead of becoming just another commoditized lead gen agency, another just commoditized advertising agency. And I share a framework in the beginning of this video where I essentially go over the 4 questions that I ask myself before I start any business. And I promise you, if you understand this lesson and make decisions using this framework, I promise you, it will be inevitable for you not to make your first 10K per month, your first 50K per month, your first 100 grand per month. And eventually, if you end up partnering up with us, we can scale this to $250,000 a month, $500,000 a month. But I generally want you guys to watch this whole video because it is not about marketing. It is not about one funnel. It is not about sales. I'm not talking about none of those commodity skills. I'm talking about the ability to make the best decision. If you know anything about some of the wealthiest people, the thing that they have is not that they work harder than you. It's not that they're smarter than you. It's just that they have this one thing called judgment. Judgment is experience times another thing that I forgot. But when you have judgment, you make consistent bets that give you outsized returns. And today, the video that I'm bringing you guys, it does exactly that. I hope you guys will find it valuable because for me, it has changed my life. And if the offer that you guys end up seeing today, you want to kind of jump in and actually try to scale it, you have the link to join our Natural Born Leader community. We have a $1 trial per week for your first week and then $49 a week afterwards. Or you could simply just book a call with my team and we'll audit what you're currently doing and we can get to work. But I love you guys. I hope you guys find this video helpful. And again, judgment and decisions is more important than the skills you have. All right. So this offer focuses on creating viral content to instead of essentially spending a bunch of money on ads, you would essentially help the realtor create the right strategy for content for short form specifically, whether that be TikTok, shorts, or reels on Instagram, to essentially get the properties that they're trying to sell super viral. Okay. So this guy jumped on a call with my team and he essentially shared the fact that he's been spending a lot of time researching and understanding how to recreate that. And he wanted to start selling it, right? Now, before I share the actual mechanism, because that's not the hard part. The hard part is understanding why this is an interesting thing to actually pursue. I want to explain kind of the way that I thought about it. The main thing why I ended up wanting to do this kind of presentation after we talked is because I posted his mechanism on my story, and this realtor reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm not interested in applying, but would love to get in contact the details of this startup," right? He's a real estate agent, and he would be working in working on the offer essentially, right? Now, the best and most profitable companies will be built from embracing change. Today, I'd like to share with you the process of value creation that is kind of unfailing. before we get started, here are things that I look at when looking to venture in a new industry that I don't have an edge or a moat in. First question that everyone here should be asking themselves if you want to kind of like experience a great returns on your time is what is the problem that makes the entire niche unable to reach their desired state? Okay. I tend to avoid selling nice to haves. So like I don't want something people can be like, you know what, I'd love to have this, but not right now. I don't want to build companies um, that are just nice to have. Okay, that's just first focus. If they can live and have a good night's sleep without solving the problem that I'm trying to solve for them, then I'll end up fighting hard, too hard to win. This happens for people who offer things like content. Um, although this is a content offer, but you guys will see that it's a little different. But I get a lot of people who jump in my DMs and say, "Hey, let me edit your shorts." But I'm like, whether you edit an extra short for me today won't really do much for me. So I can live without having your service. But if you, if I didn't have leads coming in, if I didn't have appointments coming in and I was, starting out from scratch, well, there's no way that I can go to bed unless I get leads and I get appointments and I get deals coming in every week, every month. Okay. The next question that I like to ask myself is, what are the mechanisms that have become commoditized? And that most of the niche has already tried, okay, or purchased. Most of the time this is the same mechanism being sold by most of the service providers in that niche, or in other terms, my competitors, right? Other people trying to help this niche experience their desired outcome. The reason why you want to be aware of this mechanism that has been commoditized or that they've already tried is because there won't be much margin found in selling the same solution. I'll give you guys an example. Selling Facebook ad to realtors has become so commoditized that most agencies are selling it for like 3 to 6K for a 6-month program, right? Imagine selling one of the most efficient mechanism that is Facebook ad. Like Facebook ad is still the best channel to get leads and acquire clients. But because everyone is selling it, everybody is just undercharging each other until they are literally making no money. Okay. One of the clients that I got on a call with, which I mentioned earlier, they're making 50K per month, right? Which is great. They have like 20K in expenses, 25K a month in expenses. But what we ended up realizing is the following. I'm going to show you guys the numbers. And also there's someone who's not muted who needs to be muted because it's distracting me, please. So if you're not muted, please mute yourself. So here's the numbers, the economics of that business. They were spending, so they have 25K. Let's just put 25K a month in expenses. They're cash collecting 50K per month, let's say. Okay. And they're spending 1K a month on ads, on outreach. Okay. And they're selling, oops, I need to mute this person. All right, cool. Cool. So they're spending 1K a month on outreach, which is super cheap. This is super cheap cost of acquisition, right? But one of the problem they have is that they're selling this as a 6-month program for on average 5K. Okay. And they're selling, I would say, let's say they sold last month 7 new clients, right? So 7 new clients, 35K new, 35K a month in new cash. Okay. But look at this. What you have to understand is that if you're making 35K per month, and your OpEx, your operation expenses are standing at 20K a month consistently, then that means that over time, this 35K in new cash collected, because people are paying once, okay? This is where it becomes tricky. This is where you would look at this business and be like, oh, they're taking home to almost 30K a month profit. I would love to run that business. Are you sure that you would want to run that business? Are you sure? Because let me show you how it goes. If your standard operation expenses, your team costs, your cost to fulfill is 20K a month, then that means that after 6 months, you've spent 120K a month. You've spent 120K to fulfill on what? On 35K new cash. Okay. And let's say the next month you also get 6 new clients and then you make another 35K. Well, it doesn't matter because you have to retain cash flow or else you're going to spend all the money that's coming in your business. Because let's say they go a month where they get 2 clients and only make an extra 10K, right? Well, they don't actually have they don't have much recurring revenue, right? So that means that it doesn't matter how fast they're running and how efficient their outreach is. Their current cost of fulfilling is going only up and up and up as they make more money upfront. But eventually, their cost to fulfill will eat up all the money they make on the front end. And if they don't change their business model to, let's say, keep selling this front end thing, but maybe for 3 months, so that the cost to fulfill is lower, okay? And then also figure out a way to retain the best clients on a fractional basis where they pay them every month on, let's say, the growth of the business that they're doing, because they're doing amazing work for these real estate agents, but they haven't figured out a way to retain the best clients. So that's why it's like, although it's a great to sell one-off packages, you have to understand that like, as you're scaling the business, there are costs that stay that will put you at risk eventually. It doesn't matter if you're making $1 million a month and only expenses 500K, because if you're only relying on new clients to make money, you will not outrun high increase in costs. Okay. So this is just super, super, super scary. For me, it's like, for me, the fact that they're selling 6 month worth of work for only 5K, I'm like, there's no way you guys are profitable. There's no way you guys are profitable over time. This month, it may seem sexy and profitable, but over 6 months, ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Okay, so this is why I was like, if you lead with Facebook ad, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get it's not attractive, right? Um, Naveen, you have a question.
Yeah, just to clarify, Serge, what you're saying is you're hiring people, you're doing all the backend stuff to fulfill, and you're ramping that up to fulfill your clients, right? And if you don't, if you're not collecting anything else other than the upfront stuff, you're saying, let's say that goes down, your OpEx still stays the same because you still have all the employees,
Exactly. Exactly.
your
Right?
cost. Got
So it's an important lesson to understand that like business isn't just in figuring out front end money. It is also in figuring out how to retain that cash flow. Because once front end breaks, you can't just break your business. You can't just fire the whole team you've built, right?
Right.
So that's kind of like why I wanted to kind of like emphasize that. Okay. Cool. So yeah, online advertising is still the best and most affordable way for this niche to generate leads and appointments. But from the perspective of getting rich fast, we can't become another commoditized agency owner selling ads to real estate. There's a reason why Peter Thiel said that competition is for losers, right? Now, ask yourself right now, is the thing that you're selling the main thing that your competition is also selling? Is it something that most of your market has already bought, right? And are you having a hard time climbing the mountain? How many people here are selling kind of like the same? Now, some of you guys I know are in completely new niches that may not be as competitive, but how many people here are selling into are selling something that is similar to what everybody else is selling in their niche? In the chat, if you can comment. And how many of you guys are struggling with acquisition and margins and charging high ticket? Let me know in the chat. You can't be shy. You gotta share your truth because You can't hide from the truth, right? But anyway, if you are, then please listen to The Climb by Miley Cyrus. It's a good song. Okay. It's a good song. Um, Now, here's how the next question that you should ask yourself is, what is something being done by the top 1% to achieve the desired state that the rest of the market can't easily copy and paste because no technology exists to facilitate adoption? Let me repeat this question because it's probably one of the most important question ever. What is something that is being done by the top 1%, okay, to achieve their desired state more efficiently, faster, that the rest of the market can't easily copy and paste because there's no technology that exists to facilitate adoption, right? So as an example, the reason why it's hard to make money with Facebook ad is because Facebook ad today can be done by almost anyone, right? Like most of our clients in the incubator, we have clients who just launch their ads alone and they get leads, they get appointments. So it's like you don't actually have to have extensive knowledge to be able to get leads from ads, right? Something plenty of people are jumping on is the AI trend. But they don't realize that as soon as implementing AI tools becomes super easy, there won't be any money to be made. Money is made when friction exists, right? Because if you kind of like look at it, so I grew our first build and release offer from 80K per month to 180K per month, and then to 320K per month, and then 340K per month, 580K per month. So it's like I went from 80K a month to 500K a month in like 1, 2, 3, 4 months, right? But one thing you guys have to understand is that I was selling something that no technology or platform was facilitating, which is hiring and training people. Back then we're VAs from the Philippines, okay, on a specific process to generate leads and appointments uh, at a really cheap cost, right? On Instagram. There's no way I would have this growth selling Facebook ad, even if ads was a more efficient mechanism um, than VAs, than using VAs. Is this lesson clear? Like I made more money selling something that was less efficient than the thing that's efficient. Why? Because people who ran to become media buyers and start ad agencies because, oh, you're selling technology and all you have to do is just get a media buyer that can manage 10, 15 accounts. Like that business model makes total sense. But what they didn't see is that low barrier of entry. Okay, then everybody's going to come and do the same thing that you're doing. Now, once 1,000 people are doing the same thing for a small market cap, well, then it's $1 million divided 1,000 ways. But I was in a market where what I was doing wasn't sexy. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody was doing it actually. So therefore, no, I was the only one selling it. So all the money came to me. Okay. So for everyone here, audit what you're selling and make sure that it's something, embrace friction, embrace whatever is boring, whatever you don't want to do. There's so much money in doing the things you don't want to do. It is insane. Okay. So I'll share it. And then the next thing is, are the variables that make up the main solution that I'm trying to build commodities and abundantly available? As much as we don't want something that's easy to put together, if you're going to be building and releasing at scale, you need the components of your solution to be easily available, or else you'll be stuck serving 1 or 2 clients per month, right? So like I just said, even though it was hard to put together our operations for VA placement and outbound campaigns, the actual variables of our offer were easy to get our hands on, right? So as an example, VAs, you can go on a bunch of platforms, Upwork, Fiverr, onlinejobs.ph, to find VAs, right? So, I mean, we have currently like a database of 6,000 VAs, right? And that's just like we built it in like less than 12 months, right? So you need to have something that still can be found at scale so that you can also scale and make a lot of money, right? So now for me, when I saw this real estate offer, I kind of like went through these questions. I was like, are the variables available at scale? Yes. Is it hard to put together? Yes, because there's no technology, like there's no AI right now that can do like a home tour that goes viral for you, right? And the other thing is that uh we're going to be using the angle of getting them leads and appointments, okay? So we are solving something that's infinitely valuable and that they cannot live without. And we're also selling something that not everybody else is selling. So it kind of like checks off um all the um all the boxes, which it was like, okay, now this might be an interesting offer to sell, right? So what I did next is like I always like to go on ChatGPT and just ask a few questions. I'm not logged into TikTok or Shorts, so I won't be able to share their profiles. But essentially, uh, I'm gonna share my screen. Um, so the first thing that I did was, now, one thing is important is I'm not the one who did research on this offer, so I'm not necessarily going to be showcasing the exact plug and play process, right? But I'm essentially just doing the research that validated that this offer could potentially be good. So the first thing that I did was, hey, what are some of the top trending real estate agents who do great TikToks and short form? And then it gave me Ryan Serhant, Tatiana Londono, who's actually from Montreal, uh, Daniel, Trent Miller, Stevie. I only know these two, right? And then the next thing that I asked GPT is, hey, what are some of the benefits of this process of leveraging TikTok shorts, short form content as a realtor? And then it gave me a bunch of different arguments, okay, which are, kind of like self-explanatory: increased reach, showcasing properties, building a personal brand, cost-effective marketing, engaging young buyers, easy use of trends and music, blah, 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 right? And the next question that I asked GPT is, what is the biggest bottleneck that keeps most realtors from scaling to $1 million a year in personal income? Okay. And then I said, hey, before you give me the answer, show me a list of obstacles faced by realtors in general. So in general, realtors will have struggle with lead generation, time management, inconsistent marketing, limited personal branding, client retention, referrals, market saturation, competition, blah, 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 blah. But for a real estate agent who's trying to make $1 million a year or more, they said that the biggest bottleneck is in scaling beyond their individual capacity. So building systems, hiring people, all that good stuff. Okay. But it didn't necessarily say that they're struggling with marketing. So I was like, okay, great. Then we're probably not going to use the promise of like, hey, let's get you to $1 million a year or whatever, or we're not going to go after these people, right? Instead, what I said is, hey, give me the main bottleneck for a realtor struggling to scale past 100K per month. Because you need to target the right segment of the marketplace with the offer. You can't just target. This is where everyone kind of like messes up, is like they target everyone, but not everyone is struggling with your problem, right? And then he gave me the main problems that a real estate agent is struggling with to keeping them from scaling past 6 figures a year: reliance on personal networks, limited marketing efforts, poor follow-up, inadequate investment in automation and technology, right? And then I said, if one wanted to start an agency to help realtors implement TikTok short-form content, which income segment of real estate agents would be best to target? And he suggested that for this offer, the best clients would be people making around 100K a month, no, 100K a year to 500K a year. And he said, why? Growth oriented, these agents are in an income bracket, tend to be ambitious and actively looking for strategies to scale, right? So if you were advertising for this offer, you call out, hey, you're doing between 100K to 500K a year, or maybe 100K to $1 million a year. Desire to build a personal brand, budget for marketing services, so people who have money to invest, targeting luxury and higher end markets. People who are making this kind of money are probably leveraged in the sense that their commissions are probably higher. They're not necessarily selling 10 times more home to make 10 times more money, right? So they're maybe selling higher ticket homes, okay? So which means that they would also be selling better homes, more nice looking homes, okay? Willingness to innovate, right? And the next question I asked is, if the model of delivery would be building and releasing an entire system for them to run it internally instead of offering it as a done for you service, which would create a bottleneck as we would be forced to be in person, right? What would be the best way to deliver this short form viral content infrastructure strategy that allows realtors doing between 100 to 500K a year to blow up and get infinite amount of leads and demand? And then he suggested this process, okay? So the reason why this is important is because one of the biggest struggle with content agencies is, or just creative people, is that they have to be in person with the actual CEO or the founder that they're helping. But that does not scale. Like there's no point, even if this is a great solution, like the person who's doing it for Ryan Serhant, who's following him around shooting every day, or Tat Londano, like they're not making 500K a month. They will probably never make 500K per month, right? They're making what their time is worth, what them as a human is worth. Maybe they have an agency, but they're maybe making a small retainer, right? So their biggest bottleneck is not on the efficiency of the system, is the fact that they're selling all their time to one client, right? So we don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to sell this as an in-person thing. Never. Even if you pay me $1 million a year, I wouldn't want to, because yeah, no way, right? So to deliver scalable systems that helps realtors earning 100 to 500K a year implement viral, content infrastructure without offering a done-for-you service, the best approach is to provide a done-with-you system. This system would give them the tools, the training, and strategy they need to implement the content creation in-house. And here is kind of like how ChatGPT suggested it. Create a step-by-step framework that realtors can follow to produce viral content on their own. So templates, script, and hook frameworks, right? Editing tutorials. I don't necessarily think you need to give them this information. Build and release, I would probably place editors to actually edit their content internally. Automated viral content playbook. I don't know what it is, so let's read it. Design an automated system that realtors can use to stay on top of TikTok trends. Interesting. If I was, okay, actually, let's do this. Build and release. Let's kind of like visually represent it. Okay, so real estate. I'll do this. Just replicate it. So these would be realtors doing over 100K a year. Okay. And the gap is, maybe they're trying to get to $1 million a year, $1 million per year. And you would kind of like be going to them and be like, hey, the thing that's keeping you from great returns is the fact that you're just advertising like everybody else, right? So the same for questions that I shared. I'm gonna share with you guys real quick. The same angles that I talked about here, they also apply as to why most real estate agents will not experience a great returns, because they're advertising on the same platform as every other realtor. They're following up the same way. They're selling a commoditized service. Like competition is killing them. So there is no way that you running ads for a realtor is going to necessarily make them richer than most average realtors. That is something that a lot of agencies don't understand, is that the success of your clients is actually not that dependent on you. If the competition is really high in your client's niche, you can't do nothing for them. Does that make sense? Great returns are experienced when you're selling something in something or selling it in a way that most people aren't. Okay? So please understand it, okay? So now let's go back to here. So the first thing that it kind of like this is, so for me, in my opinion, anybody who's looking to start building like releasing systems or processes or kind of like specific infrastructures, you don't actually need to rely on your own experience. You can go on ChatGPT. Of course, you need to observe things and be like, oh wow, the top 1% of people in real estate and people in investing, people in content, people in the creator space and the info space are doing something different. You observe that gap, and then you go on ChatGPT and you ask ChatGPT to lay out the process, the step by step of what's needed within that system. Okay. So yeah, that's important to understand. We have access to all the knowledge in the world here, so you don't have to you don't have to you don't have to rely on your own experience. So so this would be the actual how. So this would be like the actual content. 1 second. Actually, let's go through it first and then we'll do it after. Automated trend spotting. I think this would be a retention service that you could retain them on, right? So every month you charge them like $1,000, $1,500 a month, and you give them the ideas, right? So maybe you don't give that to them, implement it in their company because this is pretty leveraged. So I would personally use this as a retention service. Pre-built campaign and assets. I guess this would be like video templates, brand and TikTok video templates that they can easily plug and play. So database of proven viral content. So that would be like kind of like the first thing that you would deliver. Scalable training and support, group coaching calls, okay, whatever. Content management system, yes. So kind of like a ClickUp content management system would be super helpful. This would be good for sure. Ongoing support, white label options for teams. Yes. Ongoing support. Yeah. Team. Now, I don't know if there are people here in the content space, but in my opinion, talent in the editing world is pretty cheap. That if you want, you could kind of like also use it as a retention mechanism, where it's like you could get them to pay you every month and you just edit the shorts on their behalf. Anybody here doing content services?
I'm doing content, yeah. Small scale, but I'm doing content.
Okay. And then how manageable is it to kind of like scale the editing as a service?
Well, I guess if you get an editor, if they're making a video a day for a client, you might be able to handle 3 or 4 clients per editor.
Okay, so yeah, that's kind of. And how much are you paying the editor?
In my case, I'm paying €750 a month full time.
Oh yeah, we're chilling. Okay, yeah, for sure. I would keep that. I would keep that efficiency internally, because before it was like you would place editors in the company, but I actually don't think it's worthwhile building that team into their company, because managing editors is just a hassle. Like, it's not worth it. I wouldn't want to manage the team. So I think people would be willing to pay monthly for that. So this would kind of like be on the front end, something you pre-build. This could also pre-built. Cool. Talent would definitely be recurring billing, so you would retain them. And then the other thing too is there would be another function. which is like new ideas, like new trends. New trends. New trends, new trends. So all of these would be kind of like, because this is super commoditized, so you would still have great margins on this. This is super leveraged, and I'm sure some people would be happy to pay good money to actually get new ideas curated back to them, so that, you know, things like the most trending songs, the most trending hooks, the most trending whatever, right? You can even build, I don't know, an AI that kind of like builds that, right? But on the front end, you would kind of come in, and then the other thing too is like the process of recording in person. That's something that I kind of like. I get a little. It's just the lack of scalability of this process, right? But if for me, if I was going to do build and release, I would essentially build talent, in person, kind of like in person video person, in person video guy, right? Whatever. And the way that I would acquire this person is through ads. So essentially, the offer would look something like this, because I don't believe that the realtor is necessarily going to shoot the best quality content, right? So what I would do is I would run ads in the area of the client, maybe spend like $100, $150. I think you can easily find good creative people, and get this person to come and shoot the client content or properties in person. So you essentially remove the friction of having the realtor having to find this person. So you source the talent, you give them the proven content that they can make, and you give them the content management system on the front end. And by the way, this doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. This could literally be like, hey, we're going to sell it for 3K, for 5K upfront. Okay. We're going to find you someone who's going to shoot you. We're going to give you the proven thing, hooks, content. We're going to give you access to a database. The reason why this would be attractive to a realtor is because you can give them like 150 proven viral topics or viral examples. Okay. And it's just the work in finding these 150 viral things has to cost you time. It has to be hard, because people don't like when something is super like leveraged through technology. People will sense that it's not that valuable, right? So it generally has to be 150 amazing hooks, frames. I don't know. I'm not a creative person, so, you know, I'm not necessarily know how to categorize these or kind of like call them, but it has to be hard to get all of these together. Okay. And then a ClickUp management system for their content. It also has to be dialed in. It has to be a great management system that when they look at it, they're like, wow, this is amazing. Okay. And of course, you can find other variables that you can use. And then on the back end, retain them. You can retain them. You can even offer them like, we'll edit your things for the first month for free, right? Or include it in the cost of acquiring this first front end thing. And then on the back end, you could retain them for like, 1.5K a month, 1.5K to 2K per month, even 1.5K, who cares, right? This is for the real estate agent. Actually, no, we're targeting people doing over 6 figures a year. So I would say 1.5K to 2.5K for this here, for the editing part. Okay. Actually, let's just do 2.5K because it costs us money. 2.5K, right? But what you guys have to understand is that this is not going to necessarily bridge the gap entirely. Once you have built this relationship, then you can kind of like go to the client and be like, hey man, by the way, did you know that the most performing creatives viral can also become the best creatives for ads. Okay. And then you can now upsell them to the most commoditized service ever, which is advertising on Meta or Google, whatever, right? So you can go and lead with this offer on the front end and be like, hey, by the way, you want to be the top, you want the top people. Ryan Serhant didn't become Ryan Serhant because he was the best advertiser. Not really. Londona didn't become Londona because she was the best advertiser. She became who she is because she just was really good at creating content that goes viral. So running ads isn't going to make you up someone, but doing content will over time. So by selling this first initial system, right? Viral and personal branding, content, kind of like infrastructure for real estate, for realtors, we'll tap into the part of humans where humans want to be recognized and want to be something, right? This will get you a higher conversion than if you went in and try to sell lead generation, right? Of course, the reason why people will still be interested in this is because as the content go viral, they also get a lot of leads, right? So if we could kind of like Tatiana London, if we went to her Instagram or TikTok, I don't think I'm going to be able to. Can I see reels? Okay, yeah. Well, I can't see the views. Interesting. You can't see views on here? Okay, well, I can't see the views. But she has hundreds of thousands, millions of views per reel, right? So she inevitably gets leads. But for you, you would kind of like lead in with this thing. And then on the back end, you could retain them for like, hey, let's actually build you a funnel. Let's collect leads and let's convert them into appointments. But that would be your back end thing. But the reason why people will be happy to pay you more money on this back end thing is because on the front end, you've already anchored them for a higher fee. So this is what it would look like. You could sell this for 5K to 10K implementation on the front end. And then this 2.5K per month. So a 10K implementation leads to a 2.5K a month recurring, right? But what you also have to understand is that now, if you add on other services, because you're now built a customer pool, a client pool, now you can turn this into each real estate agent paying you 5K per month, when there is no way they would be paying you 5K per month for just this. No way. No way. So it's almost like we got to play a game when we're in a competitive market, which is you have to attract someone's attention for something new, then retain them for something infinitely cheaper, and then over time increase how much spend they're spending with you. There's a strategy in software where the best there's if you guys go on go listen to this breakdown of Constellation software. So what they realize is that they realize that the best way to avoid churn is to have your cost to your client be so little that they don't even notice you, right? Everybody, when you're starting an agency, a business, service business, your mindset is, let me charge high ticket. Let me charge high ticket. And I'm telling you guys to build and release for high ticket, of course, right? So, but anyway, I'll explain why it's important. But if you were to go to a billionaire and tell them, hey, go charge for high ticket, they'd be like, I don't want that. Because high ticket means high responsibility. High responsibility means people are going to expect a lot from you. When people expect a lot from you, before they go to bed, they think of you. You don't want that. You do not want that. You do not want people, whenever their payroll goes, whenever their profits or income goes down, to be like, hey, why am I paying Serge this much money? No. You want to be the last person they think about. Because if that's the case, they will never, ever churn. If you guys look at what Hormozy is doing right now, Hormozy has started acquiring franchises, right? He's not acquiring big, high ticket coaching programs. He made 40, 50 million plus in selling coaching programs. I personally don't know if someone who's made $17 million profit in a year decides to get outside of this industry, what does that say about our industry? It's not the most compounding vehicle. It is not. But franchises, they sell commoditized things that build behavior. Like, let's look at a restaurant, right? The place where I go buy a bagel every morning. I would rather go give them that $9 than have to go to the grocery store, buy a bagel, put the eggs, put the pan, put the this, put the hot sauce on it. Man, take my $9, please. Just take it from me. Imagine if you had millions of people across the country every day want to give you $9. That is the idea. Now, here's where it gets important for the right sequence. For you to build an infrastructure that delivers and profits on a commoditized service, you need a lot of capital, right? That's why you have to implement something that is expensive. Get a bunch of margins, then go build a team, go build systems, right? That now you can go sell ads for $1,000, for $1,500 a month, and it's still good because you don't care about charging people the most amount of money. You care that they stick with you for the next decade. Okay? Constellation Software, they're doing $6 billion a year in revenue, around $2 billion profit. That's almost $200 million a month in profit. Okay? And their average cost, because they sell to health in the healthcare space, their average expense line in a business is less than 1% of the company's revenue. So if a hospital is trying to decrease cost, they're never ever going to think about canceling a 1% expense line, because who cares? I'm not going to try to save 1%. Even I wouldn't save 1%. I wouldn't think about 1%. I'm going to think about, hey, how are closers getting 15% of 10 grand, $1,500? That's a lot of money. Hey guys, let's get closers down, right? Or hey, how is this advertising agency? We're giving them 10% of profits. What? How is that even possible? Hey, ciao. I've fired probably 5 people in the last 12 months because they're trying to optimize to get more money from me. I'm like, guys, you guys are stupid. Make a lot of money up front, then build a large customer base, then charge the least amount of money. Because here is the thing. Even the average agency, if they're delivering decent results, not great, and they're charging you really cheap every month, even if they're getting decent results, you will actually not tend to want to fire them, because the cost of firing them means you lose that decent result. Average, mediocre, bullshit results. It actually pisses you off when you think about it. You will still not fire them. Why? Because the cost of getting rid of them is greater than the cost of losing average results. And we have all had that employee who we know is not the best, but they're just, okay, whatever. And replacing them is like, oh my God, I have to go through all this work. You want to have that reaction when it comes to when clients think of you and how much you build them. You want the hassle of replacing you to be greater than the cost of keeping you on. That's how you solve retention. Okay. So for me, for us, everything we're doing as a business is, we acquire clients on the front end, give them a lot of value, something new, something nice. But we tend to, like I'm going with this mindset of, I don't really care about high back end costs. So for anyone here right now who's building a new offer on the front end, please remember a few things. These questions here, super important. Make sure you're selling first of all, solve a pain that needs to be solved. The second thing is, don't sell something that on the front end that everybody is selling, because it doesn't matter if it's still needed. People will not want to buy from you or pay you a lot of money. Okay. And then for Miley Cyrus, please. Okay. And then the next thing is, you want to the way you make money is always observe what the best in a niche are doing, and make sure that find a mechanism or something that they're doing that can't be easily replicated through technology, or where technology doesn't facilitate adoption. Like as an example, creating reels that go viral. We don't yet have an AI tool that can replicate that for a human. So that's beautiful. That means there is an efficiency there. So we build a service that creates efficiency. Okay? That's great. And then the last thing is make sure that you have the variables to build that service and that operation. Okay. And that's why for me, I was interested in this offer. So if anyone wants to push this offer and want to go deep into this concept of building and releasing content infrastructures or build a database for viral hooks, viral content, viral shorts, right? And then you build great content management systems, right? On ClickUp on a project management base. And then you also help people source kind of like a video person in person who would do the shooting for the realtor, and then back end retain them with editors and new idea monthly, new hooks, new everything. And then eventually ascend them to marketing. If this is something you'd like to do, I'd love to scale this offer. We're going to come in, we're going to market this offer. We're going to be your marketing. We're going to be your sales team. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share here today. Any questions? Bruno, how you doing, my brother? I hope you like the sauce. It's nice to see you here, bro. I just opened her reels and I can see thousands of views on each reel. Yep. And imagine how many, Lewis, what you should see is look at the amount of shares on her reels. You look at either hers, Tatiana's, or look at Ryan Serhant's, or look at any great realtor who's actually figured out a way to get their shorts to go viral. They're getting crazy distribution for $0. Thousands of people sending each other these properties, right? For free, for no ads, right?
Crazy.
So this is kind of like, this is where it becomes really important to look at trends, to look at opportunities, and to just build a company that helps everybody else who's behind experience the efficiency that the top players are getting, and people will always want to buy. Should we also build out a conversion lead nurture mechanism? Yeah, of course you can. My main question with content BNR is, why wouldn't the customer rather go with done for you? If done for you, if they want to pay you done for you, then you take done for you. The only reason, it's not that it's not that people will not do done for you. It's just that if you do done for you, then you don't scale. So you didn't understand lesson number one.
Yeah, I guess because I've been thinking about this recently, because I was looking at a content offer originally.
Yeah.
I'm basically thinking from a customer perspective. Let's say I have two pitches back to back. One guy's telling me he's going to teach me how to shoot viral content or give me the systems, and then he's going to give me somebody else who I'm going to pay now in-house to come shoot with me.
Mm-hmm.
And my main day is stressing about, real estate stuff, and I don't think about content.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be more attractive for him to just say, just give me an hour of your time per month and don't think about content at all the rest of the year, all the rest of the month.
So what isn't done for you here, if you were to look at it?
So the person who's going to come and shoot in person, I guess
Yeah.
you're going to have to text them and give them the location. Maybe I don't know. This
Yeah.
matters another human. The database of content, you're going to have to pick stuff out of that, decide which of this applies to me specifically, which one am I going to shoot today, how should I phrase my opening hook, etc. Managing content, I guess the content management system, someone's going to have to do that in-house.
Yeah. But I mean, what did the realtor do? Like, he didn't do anything here. Like, if you think about it, the reason why build and release is not a typical done with you. It's not just like, oh, I'm just going to give you information or how I did everything. That's not the case. It's you're selling implementation. So everything is done for you. It's just that it's done for you in the sense that it's something you build once and value can be experienced. You don't have to build from scratch. Does that make sense? Every time. But everything in and of itself is done for you. You find the guy ads, it's done for you. You don't have to. I don't, like, it was an example. We were placing talent in the companies. The clients didn't have to do anything. We trained the VAs, we trained everything. So you would do the same thing. You would just build a leveraged way of training people, so that once you get leads of people who want to shoot in person, the realtor, you just have them go through a leveraged, media asset. They get trained on what needs to be done. Cool, perfect. They're ready, trained, beautiful. The proven viral, you source this yourself, and once the client gets onboarded, you choose the ones that they should focus on in the first week, in the first month, in the first 90 days. So they don't have to waste their time on decision making. They click up content management system. You use it on behalf of your client, although it's their system, but you help them kind of like put the content and learn how to use it. Talent editing, you own it internally. Ideas and trends, you source it every month. You give it back to them, to the client, every month. But this is not a coach. This isn't a coaching program. This isn't like you're showing them, oh, here are the ads to find the in-person ad guy. Oh, hey, here's the database. Please pick one. Oh, here's the content management system. Click on it and learn how to use it. That's not really how it is. Because if someone is paying 10K, you can afford to do things one-off, right? But it's done for you, but it's not done for you in like, oh, every month we're gonna get you a new in-person guy to come and shoot. Oh, every month we're gonna manage content for you. Every month we're gonna no. It's like the first month is heavy implementation, but month after month, you get into leveraged delivery.